All right, let's dive right in. We're going to talk about a technology that really changes a core question in software, which is, what if you never had to think about servers again? Yep, we're talking about serverless computing, specifically with AWS Lambda. Let's really get into how this event-driven approach is completely reshaping cloud architecture from the ground up.
So, to really get your head around serverless, you first have to understand the huge shift away from the old-school monolith. You see, on the left, that's the traditional way, one giant, complex application that's always running. And that means you're constantly paying for idle server time, just wasted money. But on the right, that's the new world, a whole network of small, independent services that only spring to life when they're actually needed. You don't pay for idle, you only pay when your code is executing. It's a total game changer.
What's really fascinating here is to stop thinking about your application as one giant program and start seeing it as a responsive, interconnected system. I love this idea of a digital nervous system. It's the perfect analogy. It allows all the different parts of your application, say order processing and payment services, to talk to each other without being tangled together. It makes the whole system so much more resilient and way, way more scalable.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty of how this event-driven world actually works. We'll start by looking at exactly how these impulses in our digital nervous system get fired off. The things that actually bring your code to life.
So, there are basically two fundamental ways your code gets woken up to do some work. First, you've got the push method. This is where something happens, like a user uploads a file to S3, and that service directly tells your Lambda function, hey, wake up and run now. Then there's the pull method. In this case, your Lambda function is the proactive one. It's constantly checking a source like a queue and asking, got any work for me? Anything yet? Two different models for two different kinds of jobs.
Understanding the how is one thing, right? But the why? That's what's driving this massive adoption all over the industry. So what are the key benefits that really make serverless so powerful for today's applications? Well, it really just comes down to a few game-changing advantages.
It really all boils down to three things: efficiency, simplicity, and scalability. Instead of that wasteful polling, constantly asking, is it there yet? You get these near-instant reactions. Instead of wrestling with a monolithic beast of an application, you get these simple, focused microservices that are easy to manage. And maybe best of all, when traffic suddenly spikes, AWS handles all the scaling for you, automatically. You don't have to do a thing.
Okay, now for the fun part. Let's look at a couple of really powerful patterns you can build with. Think of these as proven architectural blueprints for solving some pretty common challenges you'll run into in the serverless world. This one's a classic, the aggregator. It's perfect for creating a single, powerful API endpoint that has to gather info from a bunch of different places. Just imagine a product details page on an e-commerce site, right? It needs to pull in the price, the customer reviews, and the inventory level from three totally separate services. The aggregator function is the one that does all that legwork and then hands the client one neat, tidy package with all the data. The fan-out, fan-in pattern. This approach is absolutely perfect for just crushing massive batch jobs. Let's say you need to process 1 million images. A single dispatcher function can fan out the work, breaking it into 1 million tiny tasks. This can trigger thousands of worker functions that all run in parallel at the same time. Then, as they finish, they all fan in their results to one central spot. It is parallel processing on a massive, massive scale, and you never have to manage a single server.
But, of course, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There are some really crucial trade-offs and, more importantly, anti-patterns you have to be aware of. Because if you get this wrong, you can quietly introduce a ton of new costs and complexity and completely undermine the very benefits you were trying to get in the first place.
And here is probably the most common pitfall people run into: creating a synchronous chain of Lambda functions. I mean, it might seem logical, right? It looks just like a normal function call in your code. But in this distributed serverless world, this creates huge problems, like tight coupling, a nightmare for error handling, and, most importantly, cost. And this quote from the AWS documentation just nails the consequence perfectly. While function C over there is doing the real work, functions A and B are just sitting there, waiting. And you are literally paying for those functions to do absolutely nothing. A much, much better way to do this is to use a service like an SQSQ or an AWS Step Function state machine to connect them asynchronously.
So let's talk about performance. I mean, this all sounds great in theory, but how does the serverless model really scale when it's under pressure, especially compared to more traditional server-based approaches?
And that's a totally fair question, right? Luckily for us, some researchers decided to put this to the test. They set up a showdown between a serverless stack and a more traditional high-performance computing or HPC setup. Think of a classic cluster of really powerful, dedicated servers. The results? Well, they're pretty revealing.
Okay, so what you're looking at here is just a dramatic difference. Look at that top line. That's the traditional HPC setup. As you add more parallelism, the performance actually gets worse. That's because of resource contention. All the different processes are fighting over the same shared network and file system. But now look at the bottom line for Lambda. The throughput scales almost perfectly, in a straight line. And that's because every serverless function is well isolated, so they don't have those same contention bottlenecks.
So after looking at the core concepts, the patterns, the anti-patterns, and the performance, what is the single most important idea to take away from all of this? If you remember just one thing, it should be this.
The most fundamental thing here is a shift in your mindset. You've got to stop thinking about managing servers, provisioning capacity, or applying security patches. Instead, you need to focus on your business logic. Define the events that actually matter to your organization, and then spend your time orchestrating the workflows that react to them.
This powerful paradigm just unlocks so many new possibilities for building applications that are highly scalable, incredibly resilient, and really cost-effective. And that leaves just one final question for you to consider.